Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Janex.
Tunde's rather enjoying your sing-song mood. Okpe, Dr. Ruben Abati, how are you this morning?
I'm good, thank
Great, Tunde.
I was trying to do it earlier and I couldn't do it. I need to practice.
No, we have to practice after the show.
You're a little ditty there.
Good morning, Rufai.
And you know the way he says from a place of joy.
Yes.
Okpe.
Okay, Rufai.
Okpe. Joy, happiness, relief.
Yes.
Okpe.
As always. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United States, Vice President Kamala Harris accused Republican leaders of weaponizing the use of the law against women on Wednesday in the wake of the leaked draft document, suggesting that the Supreme Court may reverse the landmark 1973 Roe v. Wade abortion rights ruling. The Vice President said that overturning the legal right of all Americans to abortion will be a direct assault on freedom.
If the court overturns Roe v. Wade, it will be a direct assault on freedom, on the fundamental right of self-determination to which all Americans are entitled. Roe protects the right to access abortion.
In Nigeria, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Wednesday laid a wreath in honor of over 20 UN officials killed in an August 2011 terrorist bombing in Abuja. Guterres described the disease as unsung heroes who will continue to be an inspiration even after 10 years of their passing.
We will never forget them.
Under sports, the jersey worn by Argentinian football legend the late Diego Maradona when he scored the Hand of God goal against England in the 1986 World Cup has sold for a world record £7.1 million at auction house Sotheby's in London. The sale price makes the shirt the world's most expensive piece of sports memorabilia. Under entertainment, Amber Heard took to the stand for the first time on Wednesday in the now 4-week libel lawsuit brought against her by her ex-husband, actor Johnny Depp. Heard told jurors through tears that Depp assaulted her as she testified in court.
Johnny on speed is very different from Johnny on opiates. Johnny on opiates very different from Adderall and cocaine Johnny, which is very different from Quaaludes Johnny. But I had to get good at paying attention to the different versions of him.
Finally, comedian Dave Chappelle was tackled during a performance at the Hollywood Bowl on Tuesday night by 23-year-old Isaiah Lee, who was carrying a replica handgun with a knife blade inside. He was later arrested for assault with a deadly weapon and detained at a Hollywood Division jail in lieu of a $30,000 bail. Chappelle was able to continue his performance after the 23-year-old assailant was taken away in an ambulance.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for hip-hop history.
Well, let's begin what's trending. 21 out of 26 residents of Chikun local government area of Kaduna State kidnapped on the 30th of March 2021 were released by terrorists on Wednesday after a payment of 20 million naira and 3 new motorcycles amounting to 800,000 naira were paid as ransom. The terrorists, however, killed 3 residents, while families and relatives of the victims were rallying around for the money. One of the victims, Kubwai Paul, said her 17-year-old son was among those killed when they were held in captivity. Our ICE correspondent, Ferdinand Duoha, spoke with her.
They will ask you, how many are you in this place? If they understand that you are more than 2 or 1, they will tell you to go and sit down there. That was how they took these boys. The other boy there is 19 years, my own is 17, and one man here that is selling drugs. So they now said they are going to take them home, since our people have refused to bring money, that they are going to take them home, that if our people sees them, they will now know that they are serious and they will bring the money on time. So they now took them on bike and left. They took them on bike and left. Immediately they took them, I knew they are going to kill them, so we started crying. So when they went, they killed them. When they came back, it was already dark. The place was already dark. They said, you see these people that we have taken, we went and killed them. Come and take this phone and call your people and hear whether they have seen our message.
Oh, this poor woman, my heart broke. Her 17-year-old boy just killed like that, Tundu Abiola. I don't even know what to say with this story. I'm so furious.
This is the second time in quick succession, OG, that you're going to bring a story that renders me completely speechless. I literally have no words. And I talk about the presidential spokespersons running out of words, synonyms for horror and tragedy and what have you. And it appears that I have as well. I mean, literally, I just don't have the words. And this continues. As we're speaking now, there's so many people who are still captives of terrorists. These people have escaped with their lives. But can I call this mother lucky? Her life is never going to be the same. Her family is changed forever, and they had to pay 20 million Naira, which is a fortune for them, which is what took so long to raise the money in the first case. If they had it lying around, they would have paid it. Those people that died, they didn't need to be killed. These people could not raise that money. They're attacking people like them, victims of the same system that made them into the monsters that they've become, are those that they're attacking. This innocent woman, was she the cause of your problems?
No.
I don't have the words.
So that was the discussion we were having earlier about ransom payment. Can you imagine if they weren't able to rally around that amount of money to pay for the release of these victims at this point? They would have still been there, and they would have been killed. Because that's what the lady said. There was a detailed report saying that they were going to kill them. Before I take your comment, Rufai, in the meantime, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Wednesday said military operations are not enough to defeat terrorism in Nigeria. He called for the need to involve communities in strategies on fighting insurgency in order to ensure that the root cause of insurgency is addressed, and also pledged an additional $351 million as part of the overall $1.1 billion set aside by the United Nations Humanitarian Response Plan for Nigeria.
This is a visit of solidarity with all Nigerians, but particularly with the victims of terrorism. We are very active in support of the humanitarian efforts of the Nigerian government. And that is why we have called for an additional $351 million as part of the overall $1.1 billion for the humanitarian response plan for Nigeria. I welcome the establishment of the Presidential Committee on the Repatriation, Return and Resettlement of Displaced Persons in the Northeast. This spirit of hope amidst hardship and solidarity in struggle was also at the center of my discussions with His Excellency the President today. We discussed the importance of laying the groundwork to ensure peaceful and democratic elections next year and the full participation of Nigeria's women and young people in all areas.
I think his visit was quite helpful, Rufai. Well, he also talked about communities learning how to defend themselves as well. And that, the military alone, I think that's the most important thing I got from his conversation. The military alone is not enough to tackle the insurgency in Nigeria.
And that's true. The military will do their work. We salute them for what they've done so far. They can do a whole lot more. But the military alone will not be able to do it. And that brings me back to the case of communities. But that also brings me back to the case of government. So let me start with what is happening in that Chikun local government area. It's sad to say, but what's the difference between how those people were summarily executed and what is happening in Bucha in Ukraine? We're at a state of war. Let's not deceive ourselves. The over 20 people from the train bombing, they are still in kidnappers' den. Nothing has been said about them. Nigerians keep getting killed every day. And the government isn't doing anything as regards it. Even if they say they are doing, we are not seeing what they are doing. We want more. We want more to be done. This insecurity has to stop. It can't continue this way. The only offense this woman committed is that she's a Nigerian.
Yes.
Nigerian happened to her. Let's not deceive ourselves. A country as enshrined in the Constitution, Section 14, Subsection 2, cannot protect its citizens. So what do you want that woman to feel? They've tried every approach in the book. Now they are blocking people's phone line because of NIN number. But bandits can call freely and we can still track their number. We have intelligence, we can't go after them. They can call victims and relatives, but we can't apprehend them with all the technology in the world. I keep saying when we are ready to solve this problem, we will solve it. But it is bad that people that are vulnerable are the ones suffering all of this. I mean, look at the background. Most of them can't even paint their homes. How do you expect them to get 20 million naira? Look at the background. They are farmers, they are petty farmers. See, do you think somebody that has 20 million naira will not want to paint his wall? Look at even the way their homes are built. But these people, because their government fails them. Antonio Guterres has said it right. We need to build community. But is the government ready to safeguard this community? Are we ready to bring back rangers to most of these communities? What happened to joint coalition effort, vigilante units and the likes? Wouldn't it be a case that you will see mighty force being used to suppress some people when they fight back at these bandits? The question is, what are we even dealing with here? The National Security Advisor talked about complicity. It's beginning to look like it. Because I can't just imagine in a country, people are just getting killed by the day, and we've normalized killing. In fact, you see, if insurgency ends today, they should test all Nigerians. We are not mentally normal any longer. Our mental health has been assaulted. We've now become a country where we normalize killings. That woman is a broken woman for life. What is happening in this country? And we keep talking about it for the past 12 years. Nothing happens.
And she was told not to cry.
And she was told not to cry. Can you imagine?
Even her son, Rufai, Dr. Abati.
Okay. The incident at the Chikun local government of Kaduna State. Kaduna State has been particularly under siege from the terrorists. And this is just another illustration of the nightmare that the people go through. 21 of them have been lucky to be released. 5 were killed. Out of the 5 that were killed, Mrs. Paul, who is the person interviewed in the story, lost one. But there are other revelations. One, that these terrorists engage in what they call blood ritual. Mrs. Paul, in another account, said that when they first abducted them, there was a request that she should bring her 4-year-old son, and that they would take him away, kill him, and they drink his blood. So we're not just dealing with, criminality. We are also dealing with some kind of shamanism. People who are on some outer fringe, metaphysical outer fringe, because I do not know what the drinking of blood will do to them. That's one. The second thing is that it is confirmed that, in fact, this terror thing is a business ecosystem, because they insisted on collecting the ransom with 3 motorcycles. I guess the motorcycles is for transportation. So the victim is really the victim in a true sense. The third point is that when the ransom was not paid, 3 persons were killed. At the end of the day, nobody could help those persons. It was the community that had to tax every member of the community to raise the 20 million and the money for the 3 motorcycles. So these are persons who for the rest of their lives are not likely to have any faith in the Nigerian government, who are not likely to trust the Nigerian government, who are likely to bear the scar for the rest of their lives. And they are not the only victims in this instance. There are victims in other parts of Nigeria whose only omission is the fact that they are Nigerians. And yet the responsibility of the state is to protect the citizens. So Nigeria has failed them. Now, the other side of the story, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, I think he has had a very successful tour of West Africa, having visited Senegal, Niger, and Nigeria, where he spent 2 days. And the 2-day visit to Nigeria was also particularly fruitful. He brought a message of hope, solidarity, and partnership. When he visited Borno, he had a message of hope that the Borno he saw was different from the Borno that is in the narratives, and that things were turning around. He also met with women groups in Abuja, and he made a point about women inclusion, right? He also met with the president, and he addressed the press. So, the diplomat that he is, he was able to balance all the issues, and he used the opportunity also to lay a wreath in remembrance of the 26 persons, UN staff, who died during that attack in 2011 on the UN home, as it is called in Abuja. Those 26 persons, 25 of them Nigerians, one of them was a non-Nigerian. Just to remind us again of the scale of terror and the kind of damage that they caused to communities. But it wasn't, the UN Secretary General was not lamenting. He was giving concrete suggestions. He says, one, that we should look at a victim approach. He was recommending a victim-based approach. How do you rehabilitate these people who have suffered so much? How do you, help them to develop trust in Nigeria? Just the point we made about the people of Chikun local government in Agwan Blues, which is the name of their village. And then he talked about involving the communities. Now, for the communities to be included, they have to be empowered. And I think he has a very strong point in that regard. Already, some of those communities are doing a lot. But if they don't see government providing the necessary support, then, of course, they will get tired. And he talked about solving the problem from the roots.
Yeah.
That military solution is not enough. You have to look at the root causes of the problem. And what are these root causes? Poverty, lack of education, lack of infrastructure. The state, having abandoned the people, as the people of Chikun local government area and other local government areas of Nigeria have been abandoned. And he promised, both in Borno and in Abuja, that look, under his watch, the UN will support Nigeria on the key issues of security, peace, and development. And in any case, one of his Under-Secretary Generals, one of his deputies, is a Nigerian, Amina J. Muhammad.
Yes, that's
who is a Nigerian diamond, who is representing us very well. But I don't think it's the personal reason that has made him express so much hope and solidarity with Nigeria. It is his own commitment to the fact that the world can only be a safe place when we balance the issues about peace, about security, and that security and peace and development also includes vaccine justice, vaccine equity, and making sure that everyone is safe. So we congratulate, Mr. Guterres on his successful trip to West Africa and for all the brilliant points that he made. It now remains for the affected states. It's not just enough to host him. It is also important for them to follow up to see how some of those commitments can be translated into concrete partnership with the UN and its agencies.
Well said, Dr. Abati. Well, in another development, presidential hopeful and governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, on Wednesday, described Nigeria as a mad state, which will require a mad person like him to make things better. Well, the governor made the statement when he met with PDP delegates in Kogi State on his presidential ambition. He expressed concern over the security challenges in the country, stating that the country has never been this divided. Wike also met with his Kogi counterpart, Governor Yahaya Bello, who is also in the presidential race, on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. Well, during the meeting, Wike was optimistic that he will win the PDP presidential primary election and said that he hopes Bello emerges the standard bearer of the APC so that he can contest against him in the 2023 election. Well, we'll take our final story to juxtapose this. Well, Godswill Akpabio, Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, on Wednesday declared his intention to run for president on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. The minister announced his intention at an event held in Ekotec Stadium in Akwa Ibom. Well, Akpabio said that he is determined not to let Nigeria sink and that his declaration is uncommon because he has never met any Nigerian politician that is locked as he is. Let's take a listen before we come back for a discussion.
I've heard a lot of declarations, but this one is uncommon. This one is uncommon. This is uncommon. The message is not only a message of hope. It's not a message of positive continuity. It is not only a message that very soon the Egyptians you see today, you shall see them no more. Oh my God. It is also a message. It is also a message of restoration of your dignity, of your respect within the ECOWAS region, within the African nation, and the rest of the world. I have never seen a politician so loved by his country like Godswill Akpabio.
What do you call it, Tundu? Self-aggrandizement. Is that what you always call it?
Yeah.
Well, you know,
And that's what they do.
I wanted to say about Wike's comment when he said Nigeria is a mad state. Rufai, I thought about you when you always say, we're all mad here. We're all mad here. That was it for me.
No.
I just...
Yeah, there's a lot of madness to go
What
around.
does he even mean?
But we don't need a mad person to solve the problem. Because you see, a mad person, like him, like he said, will complicate the madness. If two madmen jam, there's madness everywhere. What we need is a cool head that can bring solutions to the problem facing us. A madman can't solve the problem. A madman can't think through problem of insecurity. A madman can't think through problem of poverty. A madman can't think through problem of poor, civil service welfare. And when you look at all the states, you have all of those problems. Him that is saying he can solve the problem, has he paid people in his states? On Workers' Day, there was a protest in his states. So please, all these governors gallivanting around in the name of declaration, they should go and solve the problems in their states to start with. Most of these governors you are seeing are perpetually making people live in poverty. Let me tell you how. A lot of these governors are not making their contribution to the pension fund. Do you know most Nigerian civil servants are not assured of their pension in the future? Because most of these governors are not making their contribution. And it's a ticking time bomb. So there's suffering already for people that work in the civil service in various states in the future. And concerning the man saying that everybody loves him, I ask, will he say people hate him before? No. But ask, what did he do with the NDDC? Correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. But does the NDDC have a board as we speak today?
Not yet.
Case closed.
Well, Rufai, I think your point is so great, and it's so helpful for us that we just had the May Day celebrations and the May Day protests right around the time of the presidential primaries. We can now use that as yet another metric by which to measure all the aspirants. With regards to Governor Wike and the madness, it reminds me of President Barack Obama. I mean, I don't agree with a lot of things he said, especially regarding Africa, but I always like how he says it. But this one I do agree with, that Africa needs strong institutions, not strong men. This whole hang-up on, all this bravado that I'm just going to swoop in there, act like a nutter. No. What we need is a rule of law-based society.
Absolutely.
So definitely we do not need madness. No. We certainly don't. And as for Governor Akpabio, a lot of politicians exist in this sycophantic echo chamber where all you hear day in, day out is how wonderful you are. So he might truly believe this of himself. Yeah. You're the best thing since sliced bread. All his sycophants wake up in the morning and just, swear their fealty and genuflect at his feet. So this is what they all think. And it just is another indicator that a lot of our political leaders are completely out of touch with realities, either about their status and their standing or about the way your average Nigerian lives. They simply are on a different planet.
Absolutely. Dr. Abati,
the political season is a season for comedy and grandiloquence and self-aggrandizement and sheer narcissism. And you are likely to see a lot of this. Okay? So political rhetoric is something that has been studied. So many dimensions to it, and Nigerians have their own peculiar approach to it. Governor Nyesom Wike is saying Nigeria is a mad state and that it needs a madman. Well, he prefaced that with a comment that for you to lead Nigeria, you must be somebody who tells the truth to power. He also said you must be somebody who is very courageous. And that when he says those things, people say he's a madman, nobody should mind him. And that in any case, Nigeria is a mad state and, it needs a madman. So He admitted that he's a madman that can correct it. So I don't think he means it in terms of a confession of problems with his mental health.
No.
I guess what he's saying is that Nigeria is an unusual place because he then goes on almost immediately to say that, look, if he loses during the primaries, it's not a problem, but he will remain within the PDP to continue with the process. Where there will be many more people who will come forward and say very outrageous things. Godswill Akpabio, senator, he's a man who is known for his grandiloquence, for his rhetorical flourish. When he was governor in Akwa, he used to call himself the uncommon governor. And he described himself as a man from Giga.
That's what he said.
Come to Giga, he used to say. And now as a senator, he says he's an uncommon senator. So he wants to be an uncommon president. Well, so he's become a label for him. So uncommon senator Godswill Akpabio says Nigeria will not sink if he's given a chance. So he agrees that Nigeria is sinking. I want to take that, interpretation from what he said. Although he still says, President Buhari has given him a good opportunity to use his experience, and that we Nigerians should take from his deep well of experiences. So he's not just loved, he says he also has deep well of experience. So he's selling himself. But let the electorate decide at the end of the day. And we want to listen more to ideas rather than self-promotion.
Well, thank you all for your great analysis, as always. That's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you tomorrow.